I would like our storytellers to make their way down to the front. This next portion of the program really requires audience participation, so if I could ask the folks to keep the chatter to a minimum, because these folks have really worked hard and practiced hard, and they're putting it all out there, and this is audience participation, so we need you to pay attention because you need to help us with this next part of the program. We're so excited to have 5 incredibly adventurous, articulate waste site cleanup professionals share their stories of the MCP and me working in waste site cleanup. So this is how it works. Each storyteller will tell a true, real-life, 5-minute long story pertaining to the theme, the MCP and me working in waste site cleanup. The storytellers can't use props or notes. It's just them and their story. We'll hold up a card to let each storyteller know when they have 1 minute left, when they have 30 seconds left, and when their 5 minutes are up. We'll allow a 30-second grace period. But I've been given a prop in case the 5 minutes go beyond that extra 30 seconds. What you guys need to do is listen, laugh, sigh, react. Please, no interrupting or heckling. We want them all to have your undivided attention, and here's why. It wouldn't be us if we didn't have it a little bit competitive. After all, many of us are competitors, right? So we will be awarding a trophy to the audience choice best storyteller of the evening. That means I'm going to ask you at the end to show by your applause which one you thought was the best. So you can't do that if you're not paying attention. We really need you to join along. Just a reminder, this would be a great time to share a photo or two. Don't forget, hashtag LSPA25. Let's get us out on the social media. That would be wonderful. The criteria for judging will be, did they adhere to the theme, the MCP and me? Did they stick to their 5 minutes? Did they have great content, and how was their performance? Okay, are we ready to go? The order was predetermined, and we will have the photographer taking pictures of each of them. So I apologize because I can't tell and see if I have 5 or 6 people over there. I have said, great, Nate. We weren't sure if Nate was going to make it or not. So first up is David Foss, and his story is called Ambulance Chaser in Cow Country. Please give a hand for David Foss.
Yeah, got to turn on the switch on the side of the mic. There you go. Okay, it'll come on in a minute. There you go.
Is that switch on now?
Yeah, that's better.
So, it was a rainy Friday afternoon in June. Not an ideal time for a front-end loader to have a tractor fire and release 30 gallons of diesel fuel and hydraulic fluid. Because it was raining, Farmer Ferry's tractor released that fluid, hit some puddles, ran down the rivulets on the side of his driveway, hit the only 2 catch basins in a quarter mile, which then, of course, discharged to wetlands that connect to the Rocky Run Brook, which a few hundred yards away connects to the Palmer River. That would be a public water supply for the town of Swansea. Not a good place or a good time for Farmer Ferry's tractor fire to have a petroleum release. I was driving home from lunch. I see 3 fire trucks on the side of the road. Lights are spinning. Emergency response crews are doing our emergency response things, putting down booms, putting down speedy dry, trying to contain the spill. I think to myself, here I am, a rogue LSP driving home. Maybe they could use my help. So I pull over, put on my hard hat, steel toe boots, and safety vest, and say, "Hi, Bob. Bob Murphy's there, Mass DEP, Emergency Response, Southeast Region. And of course, when a public water supply is in peril, DEP is on site. Bob puts on his hard hat and his high-vis jacket, and we walk over and talk to the PRP, Farmer Ferry. And in a stern yet professional tone, Bob Murphy explains to Farmer Ferry, you have a couple of obligations. As a potentially responsible party, you have to hire an emergency response contractor and an LSP. That's a licensed site professional. I can't tell you what LSP to hire, but there's one standing right here next to me. Mass DEP has already notified our emergency response contractor, and global remediation will be on their way. Things get settled, we work with Farmer Ferry, global remediation arrives. We review our scope of work with Bob Murphy, he approves, and he's on his way with the fire department. Global remediation supervisor is John Connolly. He's a retired Marine, and the crew refer to him as the Colonel. He stands ramrod straight, and he has a high and tight brush cut. He runs a tight ship. In short order, the spill response crew is at action. The laborers are putting down speedy dry and preparing the booms. The vacuum truck operators cleaning out the catch basins, and the Bobcat operators removing the gravel driveway. That's the area of greatest impact. After a couple of hours, the rain stops, we get our arms around the spill, and things are going very smoothly. And honestly, the day of the spill, everything went great. I was just super pleased to see the levels of competence and professionalism in that crew. After about 5 hours, the sun's going down, the mosquitoes are coming out, and everything's buttoned up. The soil's been stockpiled, the catch basins are cleaned, and we've already buttoned everything up for the night. Because everything was done so quickly, the surface water was not impacted, and the local private water supply wells were not affected as well. So what's my role in this story? Well, I'm just there as an observer and a communicator. And of course, the work isn't really done until we've written a report, right? And so what's everybody's favorite part of the reporting process? Submitting via eDEP. Now, what's one challenge of working with a 75-year-old dairy farmer in Rehoboth, Massachusetts? It's a client who doesn't have a computer. He's a client who doesn't have a cell phone. So what does a technology-challenged Luddite like me do in that situation? We rely on our kids. So just like I rely on my kids for unconditional love, I rely on them for tech support as well. And Farmer Ferry could rely on his daughter Janice for tech support. So because of that, we could communicate using 21st century technology. Setting up a meeting to talk with the ferries about contract and budget and eDEP, Janice texted me and said, meeting on Saturday would be great. We finish milking the cows at 8:30 and should be out planting corn at 10. And I think to myself, I love living in a small town and working with people who schedule meetings between planting corn and milking cows. So that Saturday, I'm in the farmhouse kitchen. This kitchen has seen generations of family dinners. We're sitting at a Formica table and on a well-worn linoleum floor, and Farmer Ferry's clearly concerned about budget. He's concerned about cost. At the time of this meeting, it wasn't clear that the insurance policy was going to be covering the claim. Turns out afterwards it was covered, everything was paid for. But at the time of the meeting, that wasn't certain, and it was really kind of a concern. So we're talking about contracts, talking about budget, and Farmer Ferry looks across the table at me. He looks me in the eye and he says, David, with respect to budget, I know it may not be that much to you, but it really is a lot to us. So I have to ask, can we pay you in milk? We have the best milk in town. And I think to myself, oh no, the owner of my company is lactose intolerant, and we really prefer to be paid in cash. And I have no regrets about being an ambulance chaser LSP.